Hi everyone, how's everybody doing today? I hope everybody is having a really super awesome day today so far. If you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Gabe and this is Gabe Loves Makeup, and I'm so glad to have you here. So, pull up a chair, grab a glass of wine, a cup of coffee, some tea, a beverage, and maybe something possibly to eat, because we got a little bit to kind of go over today. So I'm really excited about it. It's kind of just to go over just a little overview in case you don't want to watch, but we are going to be reviewing the new Rose Quartz palette by Huda Beauty. I have some comparisons here from her, sorry, my brush dropped. I have some other palettes here that we're going to do some comparisons to. So if you are interested in that and you want to hang around with me and you want to see what I think of this palette, because I've used it a couple of times already, so I've got some thoughts on it, then stick around and let's find out together. Okay guys, so I already have my primer on. I did a little bit of the Huda water jelly primer. I did that along with her nip. I did a little bit of that up underneath to kind of give a little bit more of a glow. And then I did the Huda Beauty Fought Filter Foundation. We're doing a whole face of Huda pretty much today, or as much as I can possibly do, but that's kind of like what this is. And then I did the Natasha Denona. I did a little bit of my eyelid primer. This is one of my favorite eyelid primers, by the way. I really love it. I did do a little bit of mascara because I feel with this look, I think it's just gonna like help me a little bit with it, because if I don't have a little bit of something on my lashes, I can't see anything. So it kind of just helped me with my eyes a little bit more. So I've used this palette a few times already. Just to give you guys a little bit of overview, I've been using this palette of about 2 or 3 times already, so I have some thoughts on it. I played with it quite a bit, so I'm just kind of, I've got some views on it. So anyway, so let's get into the palette. So this is what the palette looks like. Now I've been playing in it, so it definitely it's got some wear in it already. But it is a really beautiful palette. It's got really beautiful neutrals on one side, and then it has like neutrally pinks on this other side, but you can kind of blend in the neutrals in with it. It's really pretty. I'm gonna hold it up against, this is the Huda Beauty, the Rose Gold palette. This is the Rose Gold palette. And I'm gonna kind of just do it up against these two here so you can see them together side by side. So this is what the Rose Gold looks like, and then this is the Huda, the new one, the Rose Quartz. You can see the difference between those. And then the Naughty, I do not have the Mercury Retrograde palette, which is the one that's a little bit more similar to this one, but I just wanted to give you guys just like kind of an idea. This is a totally different story for her, so just to give you guys an idea of kind of like what they look like together. But this is the Naughty palette, so that's what the Naughty looks like. It's a lot more chocolatey compared to this one. So you can tell that this is definitely a lot more of a lighter palette for her. She normally does more warm tones and things that are a little bit more, it's got a little bit more on the neutral side, a little bit more of the like berries and red. She likes more of those exotic kind of colors. So this is totally different for her. So I have to give her a thumbs up for trying and doing something totally different with it. The outside of the palette is really beautiful. It's really, you can see that it's very shimmery and shiny. It is made in Italy, and it is a 17.35 grams in this palette. And it's got a beautiful mirror in the inside of it. The mirror is really pretty. It's got a really nice mirror. Sorry, my fingerprints have been all over it. But it's a really beautiful palette. I did not pick up the, there's more in the collection. There is a brush collection. There is a highlighter, which I'm actually going to do with the Natasha Denona that I have, because I think I can mix it and kind of make it almost the same thing. Beads in it, and you kind of mix it, and it's kind of got a highlight to it. And she came up also with a Rose Quartz lip balm similar to this one. This one is in the shade, I've got it on now, the shade Blush. I also have on a exclusive lipstick. This is the shade Kindness by BK Beauty. We will be discussing this in another video, so stick around for that, but I just have it on for the time being. But it's a really beautiful, soft, peachy color. It's really pretty. Lisa J, they just I'll have to say that for the review, but they're really good. Spoiler alert. But anyway, but this is a really good gloss. I was going to pick up the Rose Quartz one. I was going to, And then I just decided against it. It's just a little bit more pinkier than this one. But I do love these. They are really good. So if you are interested in those, you can pick that up. That's for sure. I think this palette's going to be sticking around. So I don't think it's a limited edition. So you guys don't have to rush right out and get it. I do know right now the Sephora sale is going on and they do have it. And so you would get a 20% off of it. The highlighter is the only thing that Sephora is not carrying. So you actually have to go over to the Huda Beauty website to actually pick that up if you're interested in that. But sometimes you can actually catch 20% on her site too. She does like a lot of specials and stuff too. So you just have to kind of play between the two of them and see which one is better for you. I'm going to go through some swatches really quick and we're just going to kind of give you some swatches just so you can kind of see what they kind of look like on my skin before we apply. Okay guys, so here are the swatches. Now you guys know I'm a really terrible swatcher, so please just forgive me on it, but at least we're getting a swatch this time. So this is Quartz right here. This is Aura. This is Gratitude. This one is Cosmic Love. This one is Empowered. This one is Joy, Precious, Energized. Then we're going to flip over to this side here. Hopefully you can see it. This one is Love Stone, which is barely, it just kind of shows up a little bit. It's not very, it's kind of the jelly shadow in the bunch. And then you have the shade Cherished. You have the shade Blissful. You have the shade Happiness. Then it's Mantra. It's Moon Magic. Radiate, if you guys can see it. And then there is Self-Love. Okay, so that way you guys can kind of see what they kind of look like. I mean, some of the ones that were towards the end, if I use those, I'll actually, I'll swatch them again a little bit on my hands so you guys can see them a little bit. They are a little bit crumbly, especially the ones that are metallic. I noticed that a lot. So let's start with, I'm going to start with my Refer brush. We're going to start in with the Refer brush 13, and I'm going to tap into the shade Serenity. Looks like this. It's like a very, very mauve-y kind of color. And we're just going to kind of go in there and we're just going to start working it, blending it. I decided not to do my brows today. I just thought it would be a little bit easier not to do them. And I have to do a bunch of different videos today, guys. So, and just to FYI, I'm going to put a picture beside. I did do a video last week with the new Jaclyn Hill Neutrals palette with Morphe, and the look turned out really, really beautiful. And I will put a picture up right here so you can see it. Unfortunately, we didn't have the camera on, so that was out. But it was a really, really beautiful look. It turned out really nice. I will redo something similar to that again with that palette because I do want to show you guys that palette. I was thinking maybe closer to Thanksgiving because it's so neutral and it's really, really pretty, and it's something you could wear, you know, to see the family or whatever. It's just really, really cool. But it is a really, really beautiful palette. But now this particular shade here, the Serenity, it's really, really pretty. The mattes go on really smooth in this palette. I will give it that much. You know, they do go on really smooth. They don't seem to flake as much, or you don't have a lot of fallout as much. I don't have on concealer, by the way, so if we make any mess, I can clean it up. But it does, but some of them do have a little bit of the fallout, especially the metallic shades, so you just have to be a little careful with them. So next, we're gonna go into the shade Happiness, and it is the very pinky color. It's very, very pinky. So we're gonna tap, I'm gonna use the same brush, and we're just gonna go right over the Serenity, and we're just gonna add that right there. And I'm just trying to bait. I've done this with a little bit of a smoky look, and I've done this with a little bit more of a natural look. I'm not really sure yet. I'm trying to debate on what I want to do. It's a little bit odd because this palette doesn't have like a really good brown in it or something you can kind of work with. It's just got, the Mantra is the darkest color in here, and it's a beautiful color. It looks really pretty, but I've had a lot of problems with being patchy, so I might try to do it just as a liner today instead of doing it as maybe an outer corner or something, or inner corner. Outer. I can't even talk this word, outer corner. You know, but we'll try it and see what happens. But yeah, it's really, really pretty. What's going on? I want to deepen that up just a little bit. So let's go in with I'm going to go with my Refer brush step 14. We're going to go in with that. And I'm going to dip into the shade Gratitude. And Gratitude looks a little bit more like that. It's a little bit more of a brown, a little bit more brownish, just to deepen up the crease a little bit more. This is really pretty. It's a really pretty color. The very soft matte. So far, I'm using all matte so far. And seeing different reviews on this particular palette. And I will link 2 or 3 down below. I know that my good friend Tara Lynn, she had reviewed the palette as soon as it came out. She went to Sephora and picked it up and did a review on it. And I think she did like 2 looks on it, but I can't remember. But you can check her out. And then you can get her views on it. And then and I'm going to switch over to another friend, another Tara, and her name is Tara Brooke. And you can check her out as well. I will leave all that down below so you guys can check out their channel. But their reviews are really, really good. I've seen quite a few of these, so you definitely have options when it comes to this, so you can get a different view on it if you need to. So next, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Gratitude. I'm going to take a little bit with my Refer brush in 03. It's a little bit more of like a pointy brush, and we're just going to go right up underneath my lash line and kind of work it in a little bit backwards and forwards, just to get a little bit more in there. And I will say right now that this shade Lovestone, the one that's more emollient, it looks like this. I'm gonna try to see if you guys can see it. It looks like that. It's a very jelly based, and you guys know I love me some glow, okay? And you know I love me an emollient eye, because I like doing that. That look is fun sometimes. But I will tell you, I did it, and I tried to put it on top of it. I'd put it like what she said, like at the base, and then put the shimmer over top of it. It lifted the liquid liner completely off. It's kind of unnecessary. It's also in the Naughty palette. It's just kind of not, it's not necessary. I mean, you could definitely use it. I would use it more on the face than I would on the eye. Or if you're just going to use it alone. Now, that would be fun if you were going to just use it alone. But, I mean, I don't know if I would, especially if you've got liner on, if you're just putting it over top of a metallic already just to make it look a little wetter. But these metallics are already pretty dramatic already. I don't really think you need to do that. But you definitely can, you can play with it. It's a fun shade. Okay, so now we're going to go into the shade Aura. And Aura is a little bit more of it's got a little bit more of a chocolatey brown. I'm going to take it with my one brush here. We're going to take a little bit of that. And I'm going to tap a little bit into it. And we're going to take a little bit more here on the outer corner. And just kind of blend that in a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to take my packing brush and the Refer in a 32, and I'm going to go into this really pretty, it's this shade Cherished, and it's like a pinky, it looks like Maud from the Retro palette. I'm going to be honest with you guys too, this is very, very similar to the Retro palette in many ways. More than one, but this particular color really reminds me a lot of Maud, but it is definitely a little bit more, it's very similar to that palette, but it is, it's still, Natasha's is a little bit more, it doesn't have as many shimmers in it as this one does, but it does have some of the similar matte shades to it, like Natasha does. So I'm just gonna pack that Cherished color right on the lid to just soften it up a little bit. And I really like this shade. A lot of people don't like the Maud shade either in a Natasha Denona. They don't use it much because it's like a little more whitish than this one. This one's a little bit more pinky, but it is a really beautiful shade. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in with a little bit of the controversial one. It's a little bit controversial. Okay, so this is the shade Mantra. Now, this is the shade to me, this is the shade that it tricks me a lot. And you know why it tricks me a lot? It makes me think of the Dior palette and the Birds of the Feather. I can't remember, it was the day one, or not the green one, but the one with the pink and the purple in it. This shade kind of reminds me of that because it looks like it's going to be one thing, but then it turns around and it's another, and it confuses you. And then not only that, but it can kind of get kind of patchy. So it's a matte, so it's definitely a matte, and but you can see where it kind of looks like it'll get a little patchy. Like it'll kind of start off like a little bit. You have to see it, how it gets a little patchy there. So that was what was throwing me off when I was doing a smoky eye with it, and it really messed up the whole look because I couldn't get it to blend. But I'm gonna try it a little bit more like a liner this time. So I'm gonna wet my brush. I'm gonna wet it with just a normal, with just water. We're gonna dip it with just a little water, and I'm gonna dip it into it a little bit. And again, she's a little crumbly, so I would take off some of the excess for sure. And I'm just gonna take it and we're just gonna go line it right up against the lash line here. Yeah, that's pretty good as a liner. It's not bad as a liner, just a little bit. It's just when I was doing it more as like an actual, when I was doing it like a little bit more of like a smoke, it was not doing, when I did it out here, it really got messy. And I would definitely probably not recommend doing that. But I mean, maybe I'm somebody else that won't turn patchy. And I tried it with 2 or 3 different eyelid primers too, because I thought, well, maybe it's my primer, or maybe it's the brush, or, you know, because I tried it with the BK Beauty ones too. You know, I don't know. It just didn't seem to, I don't know. It just didn't seem to do a lot. I don't know why. It just got really patchy on me. Brush in the 208. It's like a really, really itty bitty little small brush. And I was using that just to give me like a little bit of a line with it. So now let's go and pack some shadow on. So I'm really, really excited about this. So let me see what kind of brush I want to use. I'm gonna use from the BK Beauty collection. It's the A501 brush, it's the packing brush. And we're gonna go Cosmic Love. I'm gonna do a little bit of that. A little bit right here. How pretty. It's a very, very pretty, but you have to be very careful with it because it is extremely, extremely shiny, and it may not look really flattering on some eye tones. Okay, so now I'm going to do it a little bit with my finger, so I want you guys to see the difference, because it definitely works better with your finger. See, it just jilted it up just a little bit. Now I'm going to go into the shade Blissful, and Blissful looks just like this. It's a little bit more, got a little bit like that. So we're gonna take a little bit of Blissful right here. Ooh, she's pretty. That is a pretty shade. So pretty. Ooh. That is really pretty. Ooh, that's beautiful. I'm gonna take a little bit of my Pat McGrath Black Coffee, and I'm gonna go in and we are going to line up underneath it and a little bit in the inside. And I'm gonna intensify that part on the top part just a little bit more towards the lash line, just to make it stand out a little bit more. Just to give a little bit more smokiness to it. I'm gonna go in with my BK brush in 204, And I'm just gonna take a little bit of, just a little bit of Aura. I'm gonna go over that and just smudge that into it, Aura, into it together. We are ready to finish up the bottoms of my eye and add more touches to it. I did a little bit of my Huda Beauty. I did one of her older lip liners. It's called Bombshell. I love this color. It is such a good color. And I did the lipstick in Girls Trip. I love this lipstick too. It's a matte. It's really pretty. And I did a little bit of the Lancome Juicy Tube and Miracle over top of it just to give a little something something. And we're going to do the highlight too because I've not done the highlight yet. I'm going to show you my little trick with the Natasha Denona. But I did do a little bit of the, I did do a little bit of bronzer and everything. So we've got that on. So anyway, so now we're going to go, I'm going to take a little bit of my Urban Decay pencil. It's in the shade Viper. We're going to take a little bit and I'm going to run it a little bit up underneath over top of that black and just smudge it a little bit because I wanted to give a little bit more purple right here. Just a little bit more purple there. I love these pencils. They're so creamy. They're so good too. Kind of connect the two together a little bit. This eye is still watering a little bit, but it's not as bad as it was because I wanted a little bit more smudgy underneath it. So now I'm going to tap just a little bit of the Cosmic Love. I'm going to tap a little bit of that over top of it just to give it a little bit more vibrancy. Like that, just gives it that little bit of vibrancy to it. See how pretty that is? So pretty. See, it just gives that really beautiful glow up underneath and it looks so pretty together. It looks awesome. Okay, so now that we've got that done, let's go into, we're gonna go into the final shade Moon Magic, which I have not got to use yet. So I'm gonna tap a little bit in with my Morphe M431 brush. I'm gonna tap a little bit of that. Tap off some of the excess because she is a little flaky. And we're gonna put it right here in the corners of our eye here to give us a little bit of that really blingy highlight there and connect it a little bit to the purple underneath. But she's got that really beautiful, ooh, so pretty. Okay, now that we've got that done, so now let's go into a little bit of a highlighter. So this is what I was gonna do instead of doing the, instead of buying the Huda Beauty highlighter, because I have some things to kind of make it with. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to share it with you guys. So we're gonna take the little bit of I have the Mario, it's the expensive, it's just like an emollient kind of like product. And it's just like, it's a clear. I have that. It's the one thing I have by Mario. I don't have a lot of his stuff, but I have it. So I have the Natasha Denona Love Cheek Duo. We have that, like we have this one. I did put a little bit of the blush on it. I do not like this blush. I normally never use this palette because the cream blush disappoints me so bad because it never shows up on my skin. It takes forever. I finally had to go back over top of it with a little bit of the glowish and the Berry Juicy. I had to go back over it because it wouldn't give me any color. It took me forever. But it's really pretty. I think would be on a fair skin, but on a darker skin, it just doesn't show up much. But anyway, I'm going to take a little bit of this. I'm going to take a little bit and I'm going to put it on the back of my hand here. I'm a little bit of a mess, but we're gonna just put it on the back of my hand. Then I'm gonna dip into the Natasha Denona highlighter here and see it kind of does it like that. We're gonna kind of mix them together. And then voila, I have my own Huda Beauty, Huda Beauty highlighter. So take it and we're gonna place it right up above the cheekbone because it's got that pinky, goldish look to it. See how pretty? It's just giving you that really pretty highlight. It's just really coming out on the skin. Ooh, that's pretty. This is really pretty together. This would make me use the highlight because that is really pretty together. So let's do the other side. I have to mix it a little bit more together. But it definitely does give like a really pretty blingy highlight. But see, this is the reason why I didn't buy the other one. I was going to, and then I was like, you know what? I feel like I've got something that can kind of mix with that. I can do that with it. I don't need to do that. I think I will enjoy it. It is a really nice addition to my Huda collection because you guys know that Huda is my favorite brand. I just really enjoy everything that she come out with. I love her complexion products. I love her lip products. I love everything, her brows, everything. Her mascara, I don't even have lashes on today. This is her mascara. Her mascara is sick. That, I mean, it's the legit lashes. I mean, it just does a phenomenal job, and I don't even have fake lashes on. These are my lashes, so it's just a really beautiful mascara. But this palette is really good. But I do have a couple complaints about it. I will say that this shade here, I do not like this shade much. Maybe like I did it with a little bit wet with the liner is about the only thing that I would say that I would enjoy with the shade Mantra. This shade up here, the Cosmic Love, which is right here, it is a really beautiful color. Just be really careful with it because if you get too much of it, it looks very crinkly. It can make your eyes look very crinkly and not very smooth. So be really wary of this color. So I mean, it's a beautiful color, but just be careful with it. Another one is this one here. It's the Empowered color here. It's like a very unique kind of it's like a purplish, blackish color. Again, it reminds me a little bit of like that one in the Birds of the Feather with Dior. It can fool you and you could think that it's going to look one way, but then it turns out to be another one. And then sometimes it just kind of looks kind of muddy when you kind of blend it in with the eye. Just like this one. This one just gets really patchy and you just got to be really careful with it. So when you're smoking, I would do a smoke with either a different color. I wouldn't use this one. I would use my liner or something if you wanted to smoke something up more into the crease. But just be wary of the two darker colors. Everything else in the palette works really well. I really like all of the shades. I even really enjoy the shade Joy, and I know some people not really care for this shade, but I really like it. And I also love this shade Cherished. I really like it too. And then, you know, Quartz I haven't really played with a lot yet. It's probably it and Self Love. I haven't played a lot with those, but everything else I kind of played with. I would have to tell you that, is it worth for you to go run out and buy it right away? No, I mean, if you wanted to get it, I would probably wait until it went on sale or maybe get it with a 20% if it's something that you might be interested in. It's just, like I said, be wary of the two darker shades in it. The other one, and then the Love Stone, the clear one, be careful with that one too. It is very emollient. You might want to do that as a last step if you're going to do it and make sure that you're not wearing anything or you're not wanting to do anything long wear. It might be fun for pictures too. I don't think it would be great if you were going to go out with it, you know, or go on a date or anything like that with it, because your eyeliner is going to go everywhere, especially if you have a waterproof or if you have a waterproof mascara on. It's going to end up going everywhere because that's going to eventually bleed into it. So it's a fun color. It's just something that I wouldn't suggest that you wear on something special or something that you need long wear. But all the other colors just look really beautiful. They blend well. The mattes blend really well. They blend, they're all they have a really nice pigment to them. I really have enjoyed using the matte. I just really wish she would have put like maybe a little bit more of a darker matte color in it, like a darker brown in it maybe, or something that she didn't, that had maybe a little bit of a browny pink undertone to it. Of course I've got it in the other palettes, but the whole purpose is to have it all in one palette and not a bunch of different palettes. But it is a really good palette. I do like it. It's just, you know, it just has some ifs, like it's not like some of the other ones, like my Rose Gold. I love every shade in it. And then the Naughty is the same way. It's like, it also has that extra little emollient beaded thing you could do to kind of make it a little bit more, give it an emolliency too. And then it also has, it's got a little bit more of the, it's got a little bit more of the gold. See, there's that shade right there, right there. It's a Slippery is what they call it in this one. You know, but this one is just a really, and this one has some of the marbles in it, but this one's just a little bit more, it's more of a warmer palette, but I mean, it is a really good palette too. You know, it just depends on what you're looking for. I mean, you might want to try one of the new palettes or one of her other palettes if you want more of something a little bit more you can wear on a daily basis. If you really love cools and you love purples and you love pinks, you'll like this palette. If you don't like pinks much, or if you're not much into purples, I don't think you're going to enjoy this palette. Hey guys, I just want to butt in really quickly before I get off here because I forgot to mention something before I closed out. I just want to say that this palette for a darker skin tone, I don't know if I would recommend it for a darker skin tone. I mean, if you are light to a medium to maybe a medium tan, you can get by with this. But if you are tan, really tan, like maybe a light deep to an extra deep, forget it. I just really don't see you guys, I don't see anybody that have a darker skin tone wearing this, because it would not show up on you. I mean, sure, the really metallic shades would show up on you and they'd be really pretty, but the mattes and stuff would look really pasty and they would look very pastel-y and very ashy looking. So I don't think I would probably recommend this for a darker skin tone, as unfortunately. I mean, I know she said that it was, and I've seen swatches with darker skin tone. And I mean, if you want to take a chance with it and try it, I just don't think that with a darker skin tone, it would look really pretty. If you're much, much darker than my girlfriend, Glam Girl Chelsea, because she's about, me and her about almost the same shade, actually. So it's like, you know, if you're any darker than her, I don't know if I would give this palette a try. You know, if you want to really look at it, if you're a darker skin tone, definitely go into Sephora and swatch it. I would go in and swatch it and look what it looks like on your skin tone. Don't really take a chance on looking at anybody else's skin tone. I would definitely do it yourself in person on your skin tone, and then you can see whether it would work or not for you. So anyway, back to past me. I think it's going to be a waste of your time, especially it's a lot of cool. And if you have the Natasha Denona Retro palette, I mean, if you got a shimmer or a shock or something to put over top of this, you pretty much, you got it, because the Natasha Denona doesn't have a lot of the shimmers in it. But if you have one of Huda's other palettes, you could probably use one of something out of one of these to put over top of it if you wanted just a little bit more of that. Or if you have a Pat McGrath palette, if you got one of the motherships, you could take one of those and pack it over top of it. If you got the retro already, because the retro is a little similar to this one. And the Natasha Denona is just more, it's just more mattes, and it's a little, there's not as much shimmer in it. This one has a lot more metallics in it, a lot more shimmers. So it just varies. I mean, you know, personally, if I was going to get a palette, I think I would get the Natasha Denona. I just think it would be more bang for your buck, because you're going to be able to use it more, and it's got some more pretty day looks in it, where I think this one is a little bit more on the fantasy side. It's got more of that really shimmery, beautiful. It's like some of the Mothership palettes that you can use. Like some of the Mothership palettes are really great, but some of them are a little bit far-fetched, and they're a little bit too shimmery or too highlighty, or they just got too much glow to them. And you know, when you're going to work during the day, it's something that you can't really wear. So it's like, it's only something you can wear like if you're going to go out. And I mean, how often do we go out these days sometimes? So it's just kind of like trying to make that decision on what's more practical for you or what's not more practical. So anyway, those are my thoughts on that, guys. I hope that you liked this video. You know, hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked the look. The look did turn out really, really beautiful. I'm really satisfied with it. Finally, after trying to play around with it for a little while, I finally came up with a look that I really, really liked. So I hope that you liked it. So with that said, you know, be safe, be strong, be proud, stand tall, love yourself, and remember, most of all, you know, be kind to people. You know, a little kindness can go a long way. And, you know, remember to tell somebody that you love them today, because a little love can go off a long way. And, you know, with that said, guys, we will see you again in the next episode, and I'm looking so forward to it. So anyway, peace out and see you soon. Bye.